focused and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Intense rains brought about by Tropical Storm Jolina flooded various areas in Luzon and the Visayas. We have on the phone with us NDRRMC spokesperson Mark Timbal to give us the latest from on the ground. Good evening, Spokes. Which areas are really the most badly hit by TS Jolina at present?
Yes, as of this time, Ms. Sean, we are continuing our damage assessment in various areas, including Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Region 5 and Region 6. If you can remember, Region 8. Region 8 was the first region to encounter Typhoon Jolina at that time, and she was still at typhoon level, and they suffered some damages to houses and other structures, and it also caused some interruptions in the delivery of power services. However, when the storm passed, the quick work of the local power cooperatives as well as the NGCP is being done to ensure that the power will be restored. So far, power restoration has been completed in a number of municipalities there. Also in Masbate, power has been restored. But we are still clarifying on the details of the casualties. So far, we haven't published any casualty yet, but we have received preliminary information of a possible casualty coming from Batangas province. We're still checking the details of that landslide incident, and we're also checking the details of the search and rescue mission being conducted off the coast of Masbate for some missing fishermen and other fishermen as well coming from Region 8.
Right, okay. How are rescue efforts going and evacuation efforts going, spokesperson, in the light or in the context of COVID-19? Is this in any way hampering efforts?
It is difficult, yes, Ms. Sean. We have evacuated more than 8,000 individuals, 8,600 individuals, totaling to 1,995 families, and they're using 55 evacuation centers in Mimaropa, Region 5, 6, and 8. We have issued reminders to our local governments to ensure that the protection of the evacuated population will be maintained by following the minimum health standards, as well as the provision of face masks and face shields and the maintenance of social distancing up to the level of the evacuation centers. We're also informing our local health officers to ensure that they have to monitor the health situations in evacuation centers so that if anyone displays symptoms of any disease, specifically respiratory disease, these persons will be immediately isolated or brought to the nearest quarantine facility.
All right, good to hear that protocols are in place. Spokesperson Timbal, can I ask how the search and rescue operations are going for the 12 fishermen that were reported missing in Catbalogan earlier today? Any progress there?
Well, we're still confirming whether the search and rescue operations have been successfully completed. We have been receiving reports that it's still ongoing, and some parties are reporting that the missing fishermen have been rescued already. We're coordinating with our counterparts in the Region 8 Disaster Management Council to confirm this detail. We also received a report of missing persons off the coast of Marinduque as well. And this is still being investigated by our counterparts in the Regional Disaster Council for Mimaropa. So these information items are still being checked for their veracity.
All right, well, hoping for the best in the cases of the new missing persons. Spokes, if we can just ask just a few numbers, do we have any early estimates on damage to agriculture and property as we wait for updates on casualties and injuries?
So far, as of this point, when it comes to our report of damages, for infrastructure and agriculture. We are still waiting for the report to be submitted by our counterparts from the region. We were informed that today they have begun the damage assessment, specifically in those areas that the storm had already passed and weather is already improving. We're hoping that by tonight or tomorrow, these reports would be submitted to us.
All right, and we also have another weather disturbance. Typhoon Kiko is within the Philippine area of responsibility.
That's correct.
As early as now. Yeah, are we doing preps for that?
Yes, this afternoon, the NDRMC called for a meeting to coordinate the preparations for Typhoon Kiko. There's an expectation that the typhoon can still intensify. That's why we are mobilizing preparedness activities in the regions up north, in Region 1, Region 2, as well, focusing on the areas of the Batanes and Babuyan group of islands. The storm may also affect other parts of Luzon, the landslide-prone areas and flood-prone areas of Central Luzon and the Cordillera. So we're coordinating with all of these regional disaster councils to make sure that the preemptive evacuation activities will be conducted, the prepositioning of relief items as well as equipment and personnel search and rescue teams will be done to ensure that they will be ready for deployment once the storm comes in.
All right, we won't be taking up much more of your time. We understand it's going to be a long night for you. Thank you so much. And the RRMC spokesman, Mark Timbal, joining us over the phone. Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Still in weather, Jolina has weakened into a tropical storm, while Typhoon Kiko has intensified further. Pag-asa last spotted Jolina's center over the Manila Bay, while Kiko was seen some 1,020 kilometers off the coast of Central Luzon. Jolina is expected to make one more landfall over the vicinity of the Bataan Peninsula between this afternoon and evening. Meanwhile, Kiko's impact is not yet expected to be felt in any part of the country until Friday. But for now, Bataan and other areas like Metro Manila are still under signal number 2, where damaging gale force to storm force winds are likely to occur. Meanwhile, strong winds with occasional gusts will be experienced in at least 11 areas that are being flashed on your screens, which are now all under signal number 1. All right, and in COVID news, we have the Health Department reporting over 12,700 new COVID-19 cases today. This has brought the total COVID-19 infections to 2,134,000, some 151,000 of which are still active. 174 additional fatalities were confirmed overnight, bringing the death toll to over 34,600. 80 cases that had been previously tagged as recovered have been reclassified as deaths. Meanwhile, total recoveries are now at 1,948,000, with 20,100 new survivors logged in the past 24 hours. All right, the positivity rate is now at 28.1%. In politics, the PDP Laban faction, supported by the president and led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi, pushed through with their National Assembly in San Fernando, Pampanga today. The convention finalized the nominees of the ruling party for the upcoming 2022 national elections. For more details, we have Jenny Dongon joining us over the phone. Jenny, hi. How did the event go? Hello, Jenny? All right, we'll try to get back to Jenny in just a bit. For now, let's move on to this story. We have Senator Manny Pacquiao from the other faction saying that he has not reached out to Manila Mayor Isko Moreno about a possible team-up for the 2022 elections. Romel Lopez with that story.
Manila Mayor Isko Moreno clapped back at Palace spokesman Harry Roque for saying that his criticisms of the government are for his political ambitions. During the groundbreaking ceremony of the Arroceros Urban Park Rehab in Manila, Moreno called Roque's remark rude.
Buhay ng tao ang nakasalalay. Kaya wag nyo kaming sagutin ng pabalang. Ayaw namin kayong patulan. Pero tinutulak nyo kami sa pader. Tinutulak nyo na kami sa pader. Huwag nyo kami sagarin. Mahaba ang pasensya namin. Pero Mars, pare. Call. Call tayo. Balik ko kayo sa
Although he did not mention names, Moreno urged government officials to focus on the pandemic response and not on the upcoming 2022 elections. The mayor is still evasive of questions about his political plans for next year. He said there will be a time to answer those before the filing of certificates of candidacy in October.
Basta magkikita tayo sa finals kung gusto nyo ng politika. May panahon kami para sa inyo. For now, magligtas tayo ng tao.
Senator Manny Pacquiao, whose political plans are still hazy at the moment, said he has not talked to Moreno for a possible team up for 2022.
Wala pa kaming pag-uusap, hindi naman kami nag-uusap pa. Mahirap magsalita ngayon, pero ako naman, katulad ng sinabi ko na tatlo lang pinagpipilian ko na maging desisyon. Yung either tumakbo ng Pangulo, tumakbo ng Senador, or pero na lang sa politika.
Pacquiao said that the National Convention of the PDP Laban faction he leads will push through on September 19. They're expected to elect new officers for the ruling party. The senator made the announcement the same day that the other wing, led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi, is set to hold its own national convention. Both factions are still waiting for COMELEC to settle the legitimacy issues within PDP Laban.
Naniniwala kami na kami ang legit PDP at ang mahigit 100,000 members ng PDP naniniwala sa atin at nakasuporta sa atin.
For News 5, Romel Lopez. We are One News.
Let's circle back to the other side of this story with the PDP Laban faction supported by no less than President Duterte and led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi pushing through with their National Assembly in San Fernando, Pampanga today. That convention finalized the nominees of the ruling party for the 2022 elections. We have Jenny Dongon back on the phone to give us the latest on this matter. Jenny, what were the highlights of the event?
Sean, the National Convention of the PDP Laban Duterte-Cusi faction just ended. No less than President Duterte administered the oath-taking of new members of PDP Laban this afternoon. Heavy rains in the COVID-19 pandemic did not stop the Cusi wing to hold an assembly here in San Fernando, Pampanga. However, the 400 initial count of attendees was reduced after some of them tested positive for the virus. They were required to undergo antigen testing on top of the observance of minimum health protocol. Those who refused to attend the event physically may join virtually via Zoom, like Cusi himself. When asked if his faction is willing to adopt double seat near Sara Duterte, the presidential nominee, Cusi did not give a definite answer, saying that there are lots of things that should be taken into consideration. Recall the ruling party earlier announced their endorsement of Senator Bongo and President Duterte, but Go declined the nomination and confirmed that he had personally asked Sara to run for president alongside him. As for Senatorial boss Melvin Matibag, the faction Secretary General said it is still being finalized. They have only listed at least 8 to 9 possible candidates for the Senate in the 2022 elections. Sean, in his speech, President Duterte once again defended Health Secretary Francisco Duque amid corruption issues. He revealed that he personally ordered Duque to do away with bidding for the purchase of medical items. This case made a Senate probe into the billion pesos worth of contracts awarded to suspicious third-party money. Just in Sean and PDP Laban released the proclaimed candidates for 2022 for vice or for president. It was Senator Bongo, Vice President Rodrigo Duterte, for Senators, Secretary Silvestre Bello, Carl Salvador Panelo, Secretary Arthur Tugade, Congressman Babuque Jr., Secretary Mark Villar, Chairman Greco Bilhica, and Congressman Rodante Marcoleta. And to the question, if these candidates accept the nomination, malalaman natin yan later, Sean, sa 6:30 na press con itong PDP Laban Action. Sean.
All right, thank you so much for all those updates and stay safe. That was Jenny Dawn of News 5 reporting to us over the phone. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.